During my first semester of film school, there was this older lady who was at our church, and she was painting some murals, and I'm kind of blanking on her name. I can't remember her name, but she recommended a film called El by a Spanish filmmaker named Luis Buñuel. She recommended it to me, and she was like, I guess because we were in a church setting, she thought of this scene, and she described it to me as people sitting in the pews looking at a man, looking at like the main character guy, and like him being freaked out and paranoid to the point where she was like he thought that they were laughing at him. And I thought that was so interesting because immediately my mind went to like a horror scene of like people laughing maniacally in a church setting, and that kind of freaked me out. Her description of that scene stayed in my head for that whole film semester. And I've said this before on this channel, I don't really vibe with black and white movies. There's something about them that to me can get very, I don't know, maybe it's because of the fact that they're black and white. Maybe it's because of the way that some of the characters act in those movies, where it's kind of like exaggerated and it's just kind of boring to me. But this was the first true like black and white film from the 50s that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm not gonna, prejudge it. I've never been the type of artist or filmmaker or even just person to put any limits on what is good. There's some things that I could deem, boring, and I could think like this is just not for me, but it could be like the greatest thing ever for another person, such as this older painter lady that recommended this film. So I found it on Internet Archive. It's actually called This Strange Passion. I guess it has like 2 names. And I recently discovered that it's on Criterion Collection, and it's actually coming to the Criterion Collection. At least like a newer, 4K Blu-ray version of it is going to come in September or November actually. So I plan on getting it because I watched it while I was working out actually. Because again, I have this idea in my head, I don't know where I got it from, where I think that I'm going to get like super bored from a black and white film, and I'm going to turn it off. I was proved wrong in every way possible. That movie changed my life pretty much. I don't want to exaggerate, but it really did change my perspective on what's possible, because upon doing research I learned that Luis is actually known to be, or he pretty much got famous from a film, I think it's like a short film about this woman where her eye is being cut. And so he's labeled as a what they call surrealist director or a provocateur or whatever, where he makes provocative art that pushes the limits, pushes the boundaries, makes you think, makes you kind of like uncomfortable. I think El is a perfect example of an artistic genius pretty much that can have those surreal moments, like that scene of those people laughing in the church. Now that I've actually watched that scene, it was almost exactly how I imagined it. His ability to mix surrealism with just like one of the most common stories as old as time, which is, a girl cheating on a guy, but in this case the girl wasn't cheating on the guy. And it honestly got me kind of like whoa, like I've acted the way that this character in this film acts, and I've been paranoid before in a relationship. I've been extremely jealous. Maybe I haven't done the things that he does in the movie where he's straight up like a weirdo. Like there's this scene where he goes into his wife's room while she's sleeping, and he's like gonna tie her up, I guess. And then she wakes up and she starts screaming, and then he just leaves because they live like in this mansion. The guy is like rich or something. They have like housekeepers and like servants and whatever, and they come running. But earlier in the film there was a scene where it was suggested, I guess, that he was abusing her physically, and nobody did anything. Nobody, went upstairs to check what was going on. It was just kind of like this thing that they got used to, I guess. But then again, in this specific rope scene, they actually come to her aid. So it's like, I don't know what that is supposed to mean. It's just all around an intriguing film. And again, the story is very, run of the mill. The guy thinks that he's being cheated on, so he acts in very erratic ways. But I love the fact that that church scene kind of makes the whole film. It's like the climax of the film. It's like the end of the story. And again, I've mentioned this on this channel. Endings are everything. Endings can make or break a film. So it's important to, write a good ending for any kind of story. Doesn't matter what kind of story it is, really. But yeah, this movie blew me away. It blew away pretty much all my expectations. I also love that there was a lot of, I guess, Latino representation, not to sound crazy, but I don't really see that many. I've never really actually seen that many Hispanic, Mexican, Latino, American old movies where they dress kind of the same way that, all old Hollywood would dress during the 50s, kind of like that transatlantic or whatever it's called accent, where it's like so proper and so posh, and it's like, oh, you forgot to you didn't bring the tea. But it's not like British, but it's like American. It's like normal accent mixed with British. It's kind of like in between. So I never really saw that world, aesthetically speaking, mixed with people literally speaking Spanish the whole film. Like, I love that I didn't have to put subtitles at all, because I could understand Spanish perfectly. So it was an interesting ride to watch the film in that kind of Spanish context. It just makes me want to check out more of Luis's stuff, and I'm just so grateful to that older lady that recommended this film to me, because as soon as she heard that I was a film student, she's like, oh, you don't know Luis Buñuel? Like, you gotta know this guy, you gotta watch his stuff. So I'm glad that I kind of listened to her. I owe her a lot, even though I literally can't remember her name right now. But she's just one of those people that is artsy and paints and stuff, and I just owe the world to her, because this movie really changed my perspective on black and white films. So thank you for watching. Have a good one.